Good morning. I am Steve Weber. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show on Wednesday, April 28th, show number 164. All righty. Well, we're getting some momentum going, and coincidentally, my monologue title for today is called Momentum. So that will be coming up in just a minute or two, and then we have Nicci Roscoe coming back to join us. I think it's her sixth or seventh time. I've lost track, and but she hasn't been with us for about 3 months, and so we're happy to have Nicci come back and join us, and that'll be coming up at about 15 past the hour. All righty, so yeah, we got a fun show today. As I said, we're getting some momentum going after the drive across America. So that's what my monologue is going to be about today is momentum, and the fact that we have in our lives, we have times where we have great momentum, and then we have times when we kind of come to like a complete stop and we have to start all over again. And so anyway, that's what I'm going to talk about in my monologue coming up in just a minute, called Momentum. All righty. Now, before I get into that, let me tell you about what's coming up, because I'm actually starting to build some momentum. So anyway, I do not have guests scheduled for the next 2 days. Got a couple people on the fence, so we'll see what happens. We may or may not get a guest, but that's okay. But next week, I think I got 4 guests lined up. So that's what I was talking about with the momentum. So on Monday or Tuesday, I'm not 100% sure yet which day it'll be, but Heather Holmes from P2 Probiotics is going to join us. Heather was a guest twice last fall. In the early fall, and she talked about her company and the product. Probiotic cleaning and health products, and I've been using them, and so we're gonna do a follow-up on that and talk about that, and that'll be either Monday or Tuesday. On Wednesday, Tamara Fleming, who's been a guest here once before, she did the virtual background, but she's going to talk about her project, The Meaning of Space, and she's been a friend and a coach and a mentor since 2014. So we're just last time we had kind of a specific idea, but this time we'll do a little more free ranging in terms of what we talk about. That's next Wednesday. Someone I just met last week, Gwen Peterson, and her organization is called Spiritual Communities Network, and she's going to join us, and she's going to tell us all about that. That's next Thursday. That's 1 week from tomorrow. And then on Friday, Victoria Reynolds, who's been a guest twice, actually, no, more than twice, 4 times she's been a guest. And she was a guest when I was her guest at her house out in Redondo Beach at the first week during my drive across America. And so Victoria is going to come in and join us also. All right, very good. So that's what's coming up. And that's really the motivation for the fact that momentum is rebuilding after momentum came to a complete stop at the end of my trip. So anyway, that is going to be the monologue. So let's go ahead and just jump right into that. Oh, and then the one thing I want to say, I should make this announcement before I get into the momentum monologue, is the fact that Facebook had a message that said that StreamYard had a message that said that Facebook may not be streaming or may lose connection with this show. So anyway, but it's going to be on YouTube, that's for sure. And so anyway, I got this warning. I don't know if you're out there watching on Facebook, leave a message in the chat line in the comments and let me know if you can see it. And again, the warning was that Facebook may cut the show off at some point. So go to American Gumption, Spirituality Going Wild YouTube channels, and you can watch it there for sure. If it's for some reason it's not streaming on Facebook, I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but hey, that's what they're saying. Alrighty, let's go into this momentum idea then. Momentum. Yes, that's my monologue for today. So when Forrest Gump was sitting on the bench, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share here. I've got the technology to do this. I know how to do this. I remember when Forrest Gump was sitting on the bench, he was he had no momentum. Jenny had come and stayed with him for a couple months, and then she went and left him, and she left him brokenhearted, and he was just sitting there like a lost puppy, not sure what to do. Well, he's standing there in that picture, but he had been basically, sitting on the bench, and you saw him, and what you saw was him, little by little, decide that he was going to stand up. And, this is the point in time when he stands up. But before that, you heard the chair creaking as it was rocking, and as he put his arms on it and pushed himself up. And then he took just a couple of steps across the front porch. And then the next thing, he goes down the steps very carefully, and then starts to, do a little bit of a jog across the front lawn. And eventually he's out there running and running and running. And here's a picture of him as he's going down the driveway and getting some momentum back in his life. And so once he was up and moving, it was easy to keep on going. So he said, well, one day I decided to take a little run, and I ran down the driveway, and then I decided to run into town. And then once he got to town, he said, I decided to keep on going. And he ran across the whole county, Greenbow County. And then he ran across the state of Alabama. And then the next thing you know, he's at the ocean. He's at the Santa Monica Pier in California. And then the next shot, you see him, he's at he's at a lighthouse up in Maine, or somewhere in the Northeast in New England, where he's right on the coast, and he's at the other ocean. And then he turns around and he goes back, and then you see him crossing the Mississippi River, and reporters are there, and he ends up running for 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. He just had that momentum, and he just kept on going and going and going and going. And when we have momentum in our life, it's easier to keep going. Once we are, when we're at a dead stop and we're sitting there and we're not sure what to do, we don't have any momentum. Physics says something in motion will keep on moving, or it doesn't take very much energy to keep it moving once it's actually moving. But when it's like at a dead standstill, it takes a lot more energy to get it up and moving. So Forrest used that little run across America as a good example of someone who had a lot of momentum. And he had no momentum, back when he started. I'll show that picture one more time. He had no momentum at that point when he was just starting out his run. And then of course, at the end of the 3 years, here's the picture of him at Monument Valley. And he has, that's when he comes to a stop. And he said he had run a long time, and Mama said, you have to put the past behind you before you can move forward. And I think maybe that's what my running was all about, putting the past behind you. And so anyway, he just ran and ran and ran, but then it eventually came to a stop. Now, the reason why I wanted to share that little story is that, over the last 8 months, I had gotten more and more and more momentum going as I was, doing this show, doing a broadcast, really from the beginning of the year, which was months 6, 7, and 8 through February, January, February, March. I had a guest just about every day. I had some really nice momentum going, and I carried that momentum right into my drive across the country. And, I did a show that morning. I flew out to California. I did a couple shows, the Thursday and Friday from California. And then the next week I did a bunch of shows in that first week. And then I got into that second week, my momentum started to slow down a little bit because, I was in a different place. I was traveling, I was driving. I didn't have time to prepare for the shows as much. And so anyway, it was all good, and it was a wonderful experience. But then when I got to the third week in my drive across America, I decided that I just I was like losing momentum. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to force to do these shows if, I don't have the guests lined up, and it wasn't feeling like it was the right thing to do. And so I made a strategic decision. I said, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this last week, and I'm going to enjoy the driving part. I'm going to enjoy the people that I visit with. And that's how it kind of happened. So then I ended up getting home on a Sunday, and the next week there was family in town the entire time. And so it was not a good week to get new momentum going. It was a great week to get momentum going in terms of just being just being with family and catching up and, enjoying it. And I did do some broadcasts and some shows that week, but I didn't feel like I had any momentum. And now this is the third full week that I've been back. My pipeline as far as, guests lined up, had kind of run dry. And so now I'm refilling that and getting things. And as I mentioned earlier in my announcements, I have 4 guests lined up for next week. And that's really the momentum that I was talking about. And several of those guests are people who have been on the show before. And, it's just kind of fun when, it's kind of fun when you can bring people on board who you already have some connection and energy with, because it's easier to, keep that momentum going. And I really wanted to mention this momentum because Nicci is coming back and going to join us in just a couple of minutes. And, we'll pick up the momentum that we had going for the, she was a guest just about once a month for the, through the first half, through the first 6 months of the show, through August, September, October, November, December. And then we had a scheduled interview with her that had to get postponed. And now here we are again. So it's just kind of that funny thing in momentum. Now, is momentum a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I'm actually learning and coming to believe that, everything is either good or bad. It's really, or everything is neutral. Everything has no meaning until we give it meaning. And so momentum can be good if we choose it to be good. Momentum can be a bad thing if we choose it to be bad. And so in terms of, Forrest Gump, back to the Gump thing, he was feeling sorry for himself. He was sitting on the bench. And then he somehow inside, he knew that if he just got up and moved a little bit, he was going to end up feeling better. And of course, he ended up running for, 3+ years. And he just kept on going and going and going. In my particular case, I felt really good about all that momentum that I had through the end of the year and into the new year. And then the trip and the drive was a wonderful experience. But it really was a natural place where you stopped and you go, okay, it came to the end. And it was like, okay, well, now let's go back and let's kind of do a reset and let's relook at where do I want the American Gumption show to go and what will happen next? And so you come to a complete stop, and that can be a good thing. And then you kind of restart, you reset, and you relaunch things and begin again. And that can be a great thing. So that's really where I'm at with that. And that's the momentum monologue today. So there we go. We wrapped it up. We'll say, hey, whoops, where's, that's, now why is, I don't know. Oh, there it is. Momentum. It's showing up there, taking a little bit longer. So that's the monologue on momentum. And, we'll just leave it right there. Now, let's go ahead. I see Nicci's in the back room. She's in the audience. Looks like she's ready to go. Does she remember how to appear on the American Gumption show? I certainly hope so. Nicci, are you? Oops, there we go.
Hi.
There you are. I had to push the right button. Sorry about that, dear. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. It's great to see you again. It's been a couple of months. It feels like a long time since I've visited with you.
It feels like so long. And you have had the most incredible trip. It's been amazing. I've been following you. It's been like, wow. And then I was really looking forward to seeing you today. It really has been a long time. Because I was coming on in February and then we had something happen, and thank goodness everything is well and everything is wonderful now. So so here I am.
Yes, and we can announce some good news. You are now a grandmother a couple of more times, aren't you? Since we last saw you.
I am. I have my son and daughter-in-law had twins. They're now 3 months old. Bless them. They are absolutely, they are fabulous. They're not identical, so that's great because then I know who's who. Otherwise, you get very, very confused. And absolutely love them. Toby and Jack. And my Louis, my daughter's son, who's 2.5 years old, who's a Crystal fan and everything else. He loves everything. He absolutely adores them too. So it's fun all round. It's a little confusing because he calls me Gaga Red because I have a red car. And the babies, I think, are going to be calling me Grandma Nicoli. So there's going to be a little of things going on there. What can I say?
So you have 3 grandchildren, and they're all boys. You have 3 grandsons.
3 grandchildren, all boys, yeah. So with my son and my son-in-law, we can have like a 5-a-side football situation, yeah. So who knows next if what we have. If we keep growing with boys, what can I say? If there's a girl that comes and intervenes, well.
Well, that's great. Well, congratulations. Wonderful the news that, everybody's healthy and the family is, just getting larger. It was funny because Louis was like he had his grandmother all to himself now. But from my understanding is that the love just expands. It doesn't have to get divvied up. It just expands to fill the needs of all the children.
It just flows. No one's going to get any preferential treatment from me. It is I absolutely love and adore them all, except Louis can sit and have conversations with me now, and we can sit and have proper meals together and everything, whereas I'm feeding Toby and Jack with their bottles, so it's slightly different now, but absolutely adorable, so wonderful, loving it.
Very good. Now, I have a little bit of, there was one little issue with Facebook. We don't know if it's working or not, but I did get a message from Bettina, and I think she's referring to my monologue, but she says, coincidentally, I'm resetting too. We're all going through this reset. It's a good time. Yeah. The world is beginning to open back up again, and it just feels like a perfect time to reset. And so what have you been up to, my dear, since we last spoke? You've gone through, I imagine, a little bit of a reset. Please tell us what Nicci is up to these days.
Wow. Well, apart from my grandchildren, which always come first over my children, life has been absolutely crazy. So during lockdown, which I know has been challenging for so many people, and now, yes, we are resetting and we are doing different things. During lockdown, I've been doing a lot of work with people online, helping them make changes, feel better, doing a lot of distant healing. Remember, Steve, we did the Reiki, and I've been doing a lot of Reiki, distant healing, and also crystal healing as well. So I've been doing a lot of that with clients online and helping them. The book that my partner, Philip Hermit, and I wrote together, we had the advanced copy.
Oh my gosh.
So I have a copy here. I'm not allowed to show you everything though, but here is the advanced copy, which is really exciting, and it's available from June the 1st. So actually, I'm giving you a quick flick through. You didn't see this, did you? No, you saw it.
I didn't see anything. But I want to see it. So I have to wait until June 1st. All righty. And
June the 1st, we'll get you a copy. It's very, very, very exciting. I
love the cover. Look at the crystals on it, the colors, and the hand, the child's hand, because it's really written for the younger people in the world. It's not just something for us adults. Tell us who it's for.
Well, actually, it's for 7+ all the way through to 90 or 100 years old, because it's simply put, it explains all about crystals, what they are, who they are, where they've come from, the scientific side. It's got lots of things in there to tell you about what each crystal's for, what it can do for you, how it can help you with different anxieties, for your well-being, all different things it can help you with in here. And there's also lots of meditations, so wonderful meditations to make that difference, to help you. And so the children can actually do these meditations and learn to meditate, whilst the adults who do meditate or are learning to meditate can take a lot from this too. So parents that are buying it for their children, or you're buying for nieces or nephew or friends' children's, or whoever it is, enjoy this book with them, or just get one for yourself. You're gonna love it. Absolutely love it. We're delighted with it. Philip and I really are. And the publishers, Seco publishers, they're thrilled too. They really are. We love it. We just love all the colours and the simplicity of it all. And yeah, absolutely wonderful. So we're delighted. So there you go. My Christmas guide.
That is wonderful. Now, we will have you back at the beginning of June when the book is actually, available, and we'll talk specifically about it because we're not allowed to talk about it quite yet. But the other thing I have to tell you about is when I was on my trip, I stopped in Boulder and I went to the Crystal Sanctum of Angelina LaRue. Angie LaRue is what I call her. Spent the day with her. She has a crystal bed, an orgone generator, and she created a crystal array over my body that has energized me and given me new powers that I wasn't even aware of. So, but I don't want to go into that. I don't want to distract our conversation.
No, that's wonderful. Because that's what it does. Crystals give you energy. They cleanse you. They give you energy. They give you what you need. Absolutely wonderful. Actually, while we're talking about, and I'd love to hear more about that, I've got my crystals here actually. And citrine, because we're talking about new beginnings and starting new things. Citrine is the crystal for new beginnings. I mean, this is beautiful and clear. This is absolutely wonderful. So new beginnings, citrine, everybody, make sure you have some because it's fabulous. And if anyone's worrying or anxious out there, see, I always have these around me and I love showing you some of these. Amethyst, look at this. Can you see it glistening?
Beautiful. Yep.
Wow, we love it. So yeah, and rose quartz. I've got a nice piece of rose quartz here for love.
Yes.
So when we're talking about healing though, and you're feeling better, which I'm so delighted to hear, because whatever she did to you absolutely would make a difference, will make a difference. I think we talked about my Reiki, and I gave Reiki 1. I taught Reiki first degree. So I have my first class since the lockdown. We sort of went back after lockdown from the 12th of April. Wonderful, wonderful ladies. The energy in the room was incredible. Everyone has to have an attunement. So you have 4 attunements for Reiki 1. And there's just so many beautiful things happen during this course, including wonderful meditations for love. As I mentioned, the attunements. I enjoyed playing the drum a bit. I found that really exciting while I put everyone in a really good place. We had wonderful Reiki circle where, where everybody felt the energy from each other after they'd had their attunements especially. And it was absolutely wonderful. And they worked on themselves. So they were able to give themselves self-treatments, and then they all treated others. So they treated each other during the 2 days. And then they all left with their Reiki first degree certificates, which was fabulous. So the second degree is going to be, we begin on the 2nd of June. So I'm very excited about that. Very excited. It's a wonderful course.
How did it feel after the year of the lockdown? What was the energy like when people were able to get together and be in the same room and experience, the energy of each other? How did it feel different than maybe other trainings that you've done over the years?
Of course, some people are still a little bit reticent, a little bit anxious, and they haven't necessarily had their jab yet. So they're waiting until they do, and then they're coming back. That particular course, actually, the first course I did on the 12th of April was an introduction to crystals. And it was a mother and her 2 teenage daughters. And she booked me last Christmas. And every time we were messaging, hopefully we'll be able to come soon. And soon ended up being April the 12th. Well, the excitement was beyond. The energy in the room was fantastic. They couldn't wait to get down to learning all about the crystals and the fascination of them all and their vibrations. And yes, it was different. And since then, as I said, I've taught Reiki, and Philip and I have taught crystal healing classes together. So we taught crystal healing 1, and we taught a crystal Reiki course as well. And yeah, the energy in the room was sort of mind-blowing, because it's so exciting to be in a room with humans and actually be able to do something. I mean, I love and adore teaching, and I've been teaching online, and I've been training people online and working with people online. but face to face, wow, it once you're back in there, you know, when people walk in, it's like, we can't believe we're here, this is so wonderful, you know, pinch me, is this really happening? It's fantastic, it's absolutely fantastic. So very happy.
I found the same thing as I was driving across the country. And of course, you know, everybody was very, everybody was very conscientious and aware of what the protocols were in terms of, proper behavior and etiquette. But there was also an underlying energy of like, let's just get out there and do something again. Let's go out and have some fun. This 1 year of lockdown is enough. We want to go back out and live our lives with some freedom and some, interaction with others. And I could just feel it. And like I said, it was very nice to see, because it was a nice balance of people, having like awareness and conscientiousness about like, what's the right thing to do or the respectful thing to do for everybody else. And then, but at the same time, that energy of like, hey, we're ready to go. We're ready to get going. So anyway, things seem like I felt like, a corner has been turned, and we're at least going back to what will become a new normal.
I absolutely do believe that a corner has been turned. I love what you said earlier, because I'm a huge fan, as you know, of Forrest Gump. In fact, I must watch the film again soon, even though I know it back to front, and have done even more so since I've known you. But, when you said, Mama said, put the past behind you because you can then move forward. And that is so true. In fact, I'm in the middle of planning and getting ready to introduce the first course of loving yourself. So it's called Love Yourself, Manifest Happiness, Abundance, and Romance. And one of the big things to love yourself, to start before you can manifest, before you can do anything, is to start the letting go process. Literally start the letting go process. So I love that. I might even use that quote in it, and I will quote you, Steve.
Yeah, well, it's from the movie, so you can use the quote as you like. But if you want to mention the fact that I'm a bit of an expert in Gump and Gumption, that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I will. I probably will do. Definitely.
I like, though, I know that you had that other course, the manifesting, love yourself, manifesting happiness, abundance, and romance.
Yes.
And really, there was one thing I wanted to just mention. Loving yourself can be the key to opening up your heart and mind and being ready to manifest romance. Boy, loving yourself. This is a tough lesson that we all have to learn in our lives. And it doesn't come easy because we're so critical. Somewhere along the line, we learn to be so judgmental and mean to ourselves. And we have to unpack that and really come and forgive ourselves for the toughness that we've had on ourselves throughout our lives.
I do believe that I'm working with various people and going through certain things in my life as well, that acceptance is one of the key things to start with, to accept where you are, your situation. And then after you've accepted the situation, then you start to look forward, then you start to do other things, because until you can accept and understand where you are and what you've done, then how can you move on? What can you do? So by telling yourself, I accept where I am, and now I'm ready to move forward and do something about it, and to actually start believing in you. Because when we believe in ourselves and we trust in us and we trust in what we feel, then that makes such a huge difference. We can then open up to so much more. By loving ourselves, then that's going to enable us to open up to give so much more to others, to find love, those that haven't found that love, and by forgiving others, forgiving ourselves perhaps for things that we may have done, is so important and so key.
So is this course something that you're teaching right now? Tell me about, how can people learn more about this course?
So the first course begins Saturday week. It's a day workshop. So we're starting it as a workshop. I will be doing this course online, possibly in the autumn. It's going to be a workshop online. I'm just looking at the logistics right now because I can have a certain amount of people on Zoom. It's going to be very exciting when I launch that. But I'm going to launch it as the workshop Saturday week. And then if anyone wants to find out more about it, then they can just contact me or have a look on my website. And then we're going to be having another workshop in London in the autumn as well. So that's what we're going to be doing there in the autumn, and then also looking at doing one online so that nobody misses out on any of this at all, which is going to be really good fun. There's going to be lots of different rituals as well. Not really spooky rituals, but it's lots of really fun rituals.
And so if you do want to learn more, just go right down below to mindmedication.co.uk. That's Nicci's website, and you can learn more about it right there. So please reach out to Nicci if you have any questions or need some help with that. So that's wonderful. Well, I think this is a great, so you've been busy, between teaching your Reiki classes and now getting this new course on loving yourself. You've not just been sitting around, you've been out there doing things.
I have, and I've had my grandma hat on as well. My grandmother and my grandmother and mother. I keep swapping them around at the moment. They go from one to the other. Yeah, no, I've been doing lots of things. It's something that, there's me. That was when I was looking in at my parents. I
was going to say that there was a report of a peeping Tom going around in the UK. And who is that person? It looks like you, Nicci, out in the rain. What's going on?
It's me. So I haven't given my mother and my father a hug since March the 11th last year. And all I've been able to do is just literally see them outside. It's been too cold for them. So they've stayed indoors, and I thought, I can't bear this any longer. So they were having lunch, and I appeared at the window, and we chatted through the window. And I was standing in the rain, as you can see. And I was there for about half an hour, I can't remember. And it was the most wonderful thing. And we smiled and we laughed, and it was just amazing. And then we got my sister on the phone, and my sister joined in on the phone.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, very good. I'm glad you had a chance to visit with mom and dad and to see them, even if it was through the window. That's the kind of things that we've had to do this last year. We've had to make adjustments. We've had to do things, and yet seeing, you got tired of talking to them just on the telly, and you wanted to actually see them, even though there was the glass and even though it was raining outside. Still, you could see the joy that you had when you were.
It doesn't matter, and also in March it was my 60th birthday, and my daughter, who I've been in a bubble with, and Louis, my grandson, she arranged the most incredible tea party, because we were allowed to sort of just see certain people outside, and she arranged an amazing tea party. What she did was she sent all my family, including my parents and my sister and my niece and my nephew, and she sent them all a beautiful tea box. And she made the most unbelievable tea with scones and everything else, fabulous, and cakes and chocolate strawberries, made them all herself. And she had them delivered. She delivered them, and my son, I think, delivered them to everybody. And it was incredible. And then when I walked in, they were all on video. They were all on Zoom. So we all sat and had tea together with them. It was what I couldn't have asked for a better 60th birthday send off, as it were. It was absolutely fabulous. So that was really, really wonderful. And then now this weekend, we're having a weekend off. It's a bank holiday weekend here. And my parents are coming here to the garden. We're going to have lunch.
Great. So this will be the first time that you get to see them in person then?
First time I've seen them in person from outside. But I haven't seen them in person, sort of spending some really good quality time. And I can do, and we've had our jabs and everything now. So yeah, really cool.
Well, one thing, Nicci, that we did as a family to keep us connected is my siblings and I started meeting every other week on a Saturday, but really for the benefit of our 92-year-old father, so that he could see us. And then each week we invite a different one of his grandchildren and their families to come join. So we went through my brother and his 4 kids, and then my other brother and his kids, and so it's been a way that our father, the grandfather of these kids, can all kind of get together and do it in an environment that it's not too many people, and overwhelming. But so he's gotten to be pretty good at Zoom, and the 92-year-old dad is, becoming a Zoom expert, a video guy.
I think that's brilliant. Actually, that is absolutely, and I've seen different things with your dad and everything. And you've been out visiting your brother camping, and you've been doing some wonderful things. And yeah, it's my father's. He's going to be 89 shortly, and he's amazing because my mum and my dad have both been on Zoom so much, and they've really learned what to do. I think my son-in-law has been in charge of all of that, teaching them, and they really have embraced it. And that's the only thing that they can do. I mean, it's been really, really tough for those that are older as well. And, from young to old, it's been very challenging, and we've had to really protect them, the elderly, and look after them as well. So Zoom has been an absolute godsend. It's been just so wonderful. And now, we're able to start, as you said at the beginning, resetting, starting to do things differently. It's just like, wow, incredible. And they're really happy. It's changed the mood, because it really did mentally for one's mental health, for their mental health, and all over the world. It really has caused so much suffering. So just to be able to lift the mood, to be able to do things and see other humans together is very special.
One of the things, Nicci, in fact, the number one lesson that I think that I learned during my trip is that Zoom is very good. So Zoom is good, but face-to-face is better. And so, we were able to keep going and, conducting, we'll call it business as usual, using the Zoom technology. And so it's been great, and it's been, a very good thing, but it doesn't quite, it's something about face-to-face is special. And so I think that, going forward, we're going to really be able to use both of those in a way that we haven't used them. We won't take for granted when we're with people and being able to see them face to face, and yet we'll be able to do business through the Zoom and through this medium, just like we're doing it today.
Yeah, and then I'll be coming over to America soon, Steve.
Well, I don't know about this. Tell me, what do you have plans?
No. Well, I know my partner every year goes to Arizona. There's a massive crystal show in Arizona, and he goes every single year, and he really would love me to accompany him next year. So we'll just see what goes on, and then we might do a little tour around America. And we've actually been asked to do workshops in America in different places. So yeah, you never know. We may be coming.
All righty. Well, keep us posted as that happens. Things are, things aren't going to just instantly open up and go back to it. It's going to be kind of a slow and rolling out process. But it feels like it feels like the worst is over. There's a new energy. There's a new optimism that's permeating, and so it's all good. It's all healthy.
Yeah, I think the optimism, the hope is really key and really important for everyone to have, to keep that hope in your hearts, because if we keep the hope in our hearts and we have that optimism, then that can enable us to feel better, to then move forward in our lives or where we are. So that's really, really key. And again, accepting where we are, acknowledging it, and then, well, what is it I want? Where is it I can go now? What is it that I can do? What is going to serve me? I've been through this whole year. There have been so many ups and downs. I really want to take care of me now, give myself some real love. And when we get out there in the real world, let me do something that I'm really passionate about as well.
I love that. Now, Nicci, over the course of the last 6-7 months. We've talked many times. You told us about your the fact that you had a brain operation and had to relearn to walk. That was at the very beginning, one of the first conversations we had, and how that was such a transformative moment. And we talked about then all of the Reiki and the crystal healings and the idea that you just sort of added modality, and you have really blossomed into the healing and teaching person that you are today. But way back when, in the 90s, you were doing some television, and so not to kind of do like a reliving of the glory days, but tell us just a little bit. I teased people, so we want to make sure we at least address it. Tell us about what you were doing in the 90s that really kind of launched your career and got you going.
Yeah, that was such fun. I had the best time. Well, if I can just quickly, if I go back very briefly, I worked for national magazines, which was the Hearst Corporation, for many years, and I was sort of assistant fashion and beauty editor, and I was fitness editor, and I loved fitness. It was brilliant, absolutely. And I always used to sneak out to go to classes at lunchtimes and say I was at a press launch or something. I always found a way to get to do a class. And then years later, this was sort of after I'd had my son, I decided I really want to get into fitness. I want to teach fitness. I love it. It's going to be amazing. So I went and trained in all the different areas of fitness, exercise, health, keeping healthy. And then what I absolutely loved is we joined a health club called the David Lloyd Tennis and Racket Clubs. And it was wonderful, had a ball there. But I wanted to teach there. I was learning to teach, and I thought, I want to teach a class. Anyway, some miracle happened. It was wonderful. And that was because I was in that positive state of mind, and I knew I wanted it, and I went after it. And I think that's the same with everybody. If you really are in that, you have a focus, and you really want to do something, you can create that miracle. If you don't have that focus, and you're umming and you're ahhing and you're not focusing on what you want, then you're not going to create that miracle. So for me, that's one of the big things of manifestation as well, having that focus and knowing what you want. And I ended up having 9 classes at the David Lloyd clubs. And it then sort of snowballed. And I ended up having this wonderful lady who was known as the Body, called Karen Voight. She was huge in the 90s. I was actually really inspired by Jane Fonda as well, because I think with Jane Fonda was in the 80s, she was really into her fitness and everything. There's Karen Voight. She was known as the Body. Absolutely wonderful. And I contacted her, and I contacted Health and Fitness magazine, and we did it together. And Karen ended up coming over to London. She ended up staying with me. Woohoo, having the Body stay with me was fantastic. She was wonderful. She was we became lovely friends. It was amazing. And so she stayed with me, and we did this huge event over 4 tennis courts at the David Lloyd clubs. I got this massive stage, so I did a little something, and then she did a massive workout, and we had over 1,000 people come, which was incredible. And I always remember those days. That was amazing. And I remember when I got up there to do a workout, and sort of all of a sudden I hear the music, I Will Survive, come on. And I'm like, yeah. I get up on the stage, and I think it was Gloria Gaynor, wasn't it? I Will Survive. And I get up on the stage, and I'm saying, come on, everyone, and feel the burn, because in those days it was really feel the burn. Not sure these days what one does, and everyone was doing high impact aerobics. We were jumping, we were doing star jumps, and it was fun. And then we did a huge event together, Karen and I, at Earl's Court for the fitness. They had a big health and fitness thing there. We did a big event there another time, and it was just great. I just remember though, we brought the Step Reebok. They just brought it out then, and I introduced it to all the clubs. And then we had something called the Body Bar. So the Body Bar was literally like bringing the gym into the studio. So it was really good fun. So I introduced that all around into all the different clubs, and that was great. And we got lots of press and stuff on that, which was really good fun because it inspired and encouraged people. And that's what I've been about, is inspiring and encouraging people to have fun. And then it was around the time, I think, with Karen that I got involved with television and radio. And I did a postnatal video with the Queen of Breakfast Television, Lorraine Kelly, Queen of Breakfast TV in the UK. And that was excellent. And then I was invited on live. Fabulous. It was such fun. It was my first experience going on live. And in fact, while I'm saying this, many people will let you end up doing something for the first time. And it reminds me of, my pulse was racing, my heart was beating. It was like, I was really anxious going on. And I saw Lorraine there, sitting there as the producers and directors, they came to get me. And I saw her sitting there and I thought, right, well, if Lorraine can do it, I can do it. And I just imagined stepping into her shoes. Something I'm very keen on is just always imagining and visualizing if there's someone you really admire or inspired by. I've always loved Whoopi Goldberg as well, step into Whoopi's shoes and feel really confident and good about yourself. So I just imagined stepping into her shoes. And I also anchored, we've talked about anchoring before, is squeezing your thumb and your forefinger together and remembering a time that you felt really good about something, a time in your head that you remember. It could be a song, and anything. It could be a time you were lying on the beach feeling absolutely fantastic and feeling the heat on your body and your face, and listening to the waves and seeing the beautiful sunshine. Anyway, so when I was looking at Lorraine and I'd stepped into her shoes, I anchored the moment. Nobody saw me do it, though. I kind of sneaked my hand down. And I anchored the moment of when I was on stage, or just about to go on stage, with I Will Survive. And that made me feel, I felt really good. And so I got on, I'm literally about to go out. Lorraine looks, welcomes me on the sofa. And I felt really confident. All that sort of panic and everything had gone, because I was really in her shoes, and I was back there with I Will Survive, having good fun. So that's a really good one to do. The funniest things, though, is they asked me to walk over to the workout area, because they wanted to film me doing a little bit of the exercise that we'd done on the video. So, I walked straight in front of the camera because I'd never done it before. Literally, all you could see was me walking. I'd taken up the whole of the camera nationally. It was like, what have I done? I didn't know till afterwards, though. Everyone was laughing about it. And then when I was in the area, the producers and the directors had said to me previously, Nicci, when we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cut, you need to stop. Literally stop. Well, honestly, Steve, I was having such a ball. I was really enjoying myself. And I suddenly saw the producers and directors waving their arms around and going like this. And I realized, I thought, they're joining in, they're having fun. But I realized that actually they wanted me to stop. So I suddenly had to look to the camera. Well, I was looking at it anyway. And I said, lovely to see you all. Have a fabulous day. And that was it. And I was off. That was the most amazing experience. And then from there I went to work on Sky One on a program called 1 to 3, and I was doing fitness pieces all the time. We did outside broadcasts, so I was going out to different venues, interviewing different people. I had guests on, so people like Steve Davis, who's the snooker player here. He was a snooker champion here. absolutely wonderful guy. And we did something together for the Heart of Britain with Adam Faith. Now, Adam Faith, he passed away quite a while ago. He was a great singer, and he was also someone called Budgie years ago. And we did something for the Heart of Britain. And Steve said, yeah, he was in Thailand at the time playing for some playing snooker in a competition. He said, if I can, I'll come back and I'll come on. And he did, and we had some great times. We did salsa pieces. So I went out and I went to a nightclub, and I had to do a salsa piece. And the director said to me, right, they said, at the end, I want you to sit there looking really miserable at the bar. And I was like, why would I want to sit there looking really miserable? They said, because we've got some really hunky guy in a hat, cowboy hat, and he's going to come over to you. And he's going to tap you on the shoulder, and you've got to look round and smile and be all excited that you've been asked to dance. So that's what I did. It was a bit crazy in those times, but it was really good fun.
My goodness, this is incredible, because here we are talking the seventh time, and for somebody, this could be kind of like the highlight of their career, that they went and they had this TV thing and they did all these wonderful adventures. And, here we are, the seventh time we're talking, and it's the first time we're even mentioning it. And it makes me realize that life is really just a journey, and it's just nothing but a bunch of experiences. Yeah. And we learn from each of those experiences, and it's okay to have these wonderful memories and learning experiences, but the joy of just going to the next phase and learning something new, and then, and all of the things that you've learned in terms of healing now. I mean, that was like fun and like glamorous, but it was, it didn't require, half of the skills that you're using, in today's world. And somebody could look at that and be bitter that they're like that time has passed. And yet here you are, reliving it and feeling that joy and sharing it. And this is a good lesson for us all, that, lifelong learning is what I'm thinking, lifelong learning.
Oh, absolutely. But I've carried all of that with me. I mean, when I was 14 years old, I worked for a hospital radio show, and it was called Nicci's Hour, and it was absolutely wonderful. I was actually 14, and they thought I was 16, but no one's going to find that out now. It doesn't matter anymore. And I also remember going on the wards and being with on the children's wards, actually, and working with helping the children and reading them books and things like that. And I just had a taste for it. So I also, on my journey and during that time, I went on to radio, and it was such a coincidence, because when I was in the fashion industry, working on the magazine and the beauty industry, there's a wonderful lady, Lynn Franks, and she was the sort of top PR lady in fashion, and I used to always be going to her offices and getting clothes for the company magazine shoots and bringing them back, and seeing her and everybody else. Wonderful another lady, Carol Hayes, all these different people I had wonderful times with. And then, I ended up working for her radio show. Lynn Franks actually owned Viva Radio, and I was there twice a week on live. I used to take my children on. I took them on Sky TV with me, and I got both my kids doing the Macarena. They've never forgiven me. And
you'll have to get those grandsons of yours on TV at some point.
Oh, I will. We're going to do that. Actually, what I'll do one day is I'll have them all with me. I have the boy, two little ones, the baby's in one arm and the other arm, and I have Louis propped on here, and then my dog Teddy, who's got really big. He's got really big. We'll have him involved as well. In fact, he's sitting here now. He's fast asleep. I was actually thinking, I wonder if he's going to want to join in, but he's fast asleep. When we got him, I thought he was going to be like a handbag dog, a little cavapoo. He's beautiful. He's gorgeous. Well, he hasn't just grown. He's like 8 months now. Getting on. He was like this, then he's like this. And he suddenly got huge. And he is the most adorable, loving. Philip and I we just adore him so much. And he's a healing dog as well. He literally will pick up a crystal and bring it over and drop it by your feet. He did that to Philip, and then a packet of crystals. Only me has a packet of crystals. Picks up a packet of crystals, and there were quartz points. I think I can't remember now. And he brought them over and he dropped them. Literally got on the sofa where I was sitting, and he dropped the crystals literally to me. So he's a beautiful healing dog. So very exciting.
Well, Nicci, our time is coming to an end. This has been just wonderful. It's been fabulous to have you back. I missed you so much, and we usually talk off the air about what we'll do next. But I'm just going to throw out a couple of ideas, and we can decide. But your book is coming out in June.
Yes.
So we have to have you back right at that time.
Okay.
We'll schedule that. But then maybe before then, we could do a show that talks about my experience with going to the Crystal Sanctum in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah. And I have a lot of footage that I took and video, and I haven't put it together all yet, but I would love to, share pieces of that with you and maybe get your reaction, and we could talk specifically about it. So that might be a fun thing that we could do also in the future.
Oh yeah, love that. That would be really good fun. Yes, definitely. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, you would know more about it than I did, right? I mean, so it was a wonderful thing. And anyway, so I would love to share it with you, because it was so much information in like one day that someone like myself who's like exposed to it, like I'm at Crystals 101. I haven't even read your book yet. I'm going to learn more from that, because I'm over 7 years old and I'm under 99. So it's the perfect age group for me. So hold that book up one more time.
There you go. Where are we?
There we are. Look at that. Yeah. So I love the cover. It's you and Philip have done a great job of putting that information together. And I love the fact that it's basically for either someone young who's curious, or for someone who's older and is curious. And so it's not like it's going to be over their head. It's not some complicated guide. It's the basics. So,
it's simple and it's easy, and as I said earlier, it's just gives you so much information. And also, as I said, meditations that you can do with crystals as well, and what you can do to work with others. So children can work with their friends. There's lots of fun options, but adults can also with their friends as well. Certain things they can do. So really, really cool. So there you go. I'll show you inside in June. That's right.
We know there's stuff inside there, but you've been sworn to keep that quiet until then. So it's under embargoed. All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you for joining us. Anything you have one more crystal you want to show people, and just let them know how that particular crystal might be helpful?
So this is selenite. And selenite is one of the purest crystals. It's so calming and it's wonderful and it's cleansing. And if you have a piece of selenite in your home or on you, it can keep things really calm. It can clear the space. So if there's any negativity or anything in the space, it's beautiful to keep it clear and calm and wonderful. And also, if you ever get yourself a selenite stick, or you can get a selenite wand or something, lovely to cleanse yourself. So you literally brush down over yourself, just to give yourself a spiritual cleanse.
Oh, I love that. Well, good. All righty. Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I missed you, and I'm glad that everything is well with you in the UK. And we'll get you scheduled back here. Maybe in May, and then again in June, or we'll figure it out. We'll look at our schedules. So
we will. Okay.
All righty. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Wow. So yeah, we love Nicci. We missed Nicci Roscoe. Mindmedication.co.uk. You can learn about her course, the self-love course. Let's see what it's called. It's called Love Yourself, Manifest Happiness, Abundance, and Romance. And she's doing that a week from Saturday, but it's over there. But it's going to be available as an online course coming up in the fall. And then her book is coming up on June 1st. So that's what, only, a little more than a month away from now. And you can probably pre-order the book, I'm guessing. I don't know that, but you'll be able to get it on June 1st and pick up a copy of that. And we'll have Nicci back and she can tell us all about that in early June. Alrighty, well, that's it, everybody. I'm going to end this show right on time. How often do I do that? And next week, I've got Heather Holmes, Tamara Fleming, Gwen Peterson, Victoria Reynolds, all going to be joining me. So I'm getting momentum back. I'm getting my new American Gumption show phase 2, because those first 8 months turned out to kind of be phase 1, and now we're evolving into phase 2, and then the next phase after that will be when I'm actually out there living and working on the road. So hopefully by the end of by third quarter, or certainly fourth quarter of 2021, that is the plan. All righty. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Not sure what I'm doing, if I have a guest or if I'll just do a monologue, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Let's see. And I want to hit the closing button and wrap this up. I'm still remembering how to do the show. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.